ओम सदाशिवसमारंभां शंकराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. Okay. So we are doing the 13th chapter, right? So the 15th verse we completed last time? Or 16th also we completed? 16th also, yeah. 16th. Yeah. 16th also we completed last time. So that is it.
We have to do 15 today.
15, 16 we are done. Avibhaktam cha bhuteshu vibhaktam eva cha sthitam. No?
15 you have done.
Okay. Bhahirantascha bhutanam we have done. Inside, outside. I quoted that verse also, no? Shunya kumbham, shunya purna kumbham, shunya kumbham, etc. I quoted that verse. Yeah. Okay, let us do the 16 then. Avibhaktam cha bhuteshu vibhaktam cha sastam bhutabhrat cha tajneyam grishnu prabhavishnu cha. Avibhaktam cha bhuteshu. Sorry, there's something off here. Okay. Avibhaktam cha bhuteshu. But vibhaktam iva cha sthitam. Bhuteshu avibhaktam. It is undivided among all the beings. Looks as though it is divided. There is only one limitless consciousness. But because there is a gap between sentient and insentient, between two sentient beings there is social distancing, natural distancing. Okay. It looks as though it's divided. Exactly like space being one, but looks divided among your various rooms. Okay. One space, but divided into houses and rooms and things. Apparently, not really. For the sake of functioning, we have some of these divisions, not really divided. Similarly here, one consciousness, but looks divided. Vibhaktam iva chastitam. Bhuta bhritta jneyam. Okay. Bhuta bhrit. It is the one that sustains everything that is there. Bhuta bhrit. Or bhuta. The word bharya, wife, or bharta, husband, comes from this root, bhrit. To sustain, to nourish, to nurture. That is the meaning. So there's a fundamental duty towards each other. Everything else is secondary. Everything else is secondary. Therefore, bhuta bhrit, that which sustains all beings. Literally here. Because without existence, there is no forms of existence. Therefore, bhuta bhrit. Tajneyam, that is the entity to be known as myself. That's understood, okay? That is the thing to be known as myself. Grishnuhu Prabhavishnu cha. Prabhavishnu cha. Prabhavishnu, from where everything originates. Grishnu, that into which everything is resolved. Therefore, Grishnu Prabhavishnu cha. The source of all creation, the resolving point of all creation. One consciousness alone. Okay. Here I may make a point. We bring in the idea of Ishvara as the creator, sustainer, destroyer, etc. just so that your minds can understand it easier, okay? Because from childhood onwards you are brought to think about God as some creator, somewhere. Whether you are brought up as a Hindu or a Catholic or any other religion, that little bit idea comes in, as a person. That means as a limited entity. When you say person, then you'll always say limited entity. And for the sake of worship, we have all the Ishta Devatas also. Various Ishta Devatas we have for the sake of worship. Therefore, the idea of Ishvara as a simple person is very strong in our minds. Probably it gives a sense of hope, a sense of assurance that somebody is with us, etc., etc., which is all fine for psychological growth. But finally, you have to understand that what you mean by Ishvara is nothing but consciousness manifests through the whole Maya Shakti. One has to come to that level of understanding. You can still continue your worship, your emotional play with Ishvara in any form. That's fine, that's beautiful. Even if sometimes it looks a bit illogical. After all, bhakti need not be logical, okay? Is there a logic about loving someone? What logic is there? What logic is there? Yeah. If you're going by logic, half the people will not be in the relationship they are in. Yeah. But the heart wants what it wants, so it's okay. So similarly, that emotional part can continue. But the understanding. And slowly that understanding will get reflected in the emotion. You will have your Ishta Devata, at the same time you will worship Ishvara as this thing. Yeah. As the cosmic order, as consciousness manifests in total Maya Shakti, etc. Therefore, there is only one. There is only Ishvara. Ishvara and me separate doesn't exist. Consciousness and me separate also doesn't exist. Okay. I am seeing the young man in the background. I met him after 3 years. Yeah. Talking about Ajit's son. Yeah. He's grown up to be a real nice, smart guy. Okay. Yeah, so, Grashnucha, Prabhavishnucha. All right. Then continuing in the same vein, he goes ahead. If any time, any place you have a doubt, please ask. Okay. Jyotisham api tad jyotihi tamasa paramuchyate jnanam jneyam jnana gamyam hridi sarvasya vitishtitam. Beautiful, beautiful. Jyotisham api tad jyotihi, the light of all lights. Very common expression used for Ishvara, the consciousness. What do you mean light of all lights? Because of this, people will meditate on consciousness as some light. Narayana, the levels of ignorance can be huge. Anyway. As you need light to see things. Okay. So we generally owe our perception to light, especially visual perception, which forms the major chunk of our perceptions, of our fivefold perception. Visual perception forms a major chunk. Therefore, that is the example used. Okay, Jyotishamapi. So, I see things in the light of the sun or the light, whatever. But the sun is seen only because my eyes are conscious, sentient. If my eyes were not conscious, I would not be seeing the sun. And the eyes are conscious because there is a conscious mind backing it up. And the mind is conscious because there is consciousness backing it up. And consciousness is conscious because that is nature. Therefore, Jyotisham apichat Jyotihi. Everything in the world, every little thing in the world, from your ignorance, mind, ahankara, body to the whole world, is known through a valid means of knowledge. You need a pramana to know it. Even your thoughts has to be objectified, your ignorance has to be objectified. There's an internal perception there. Your ahankara, your concept of yourself is also objectified. The only thing that you know without objectification, without the need of a pramana, is I am, I exist. I am, I exist, you know, without the necessity of any pramana. You don't need any pramana to know you exist. I am. Therefore, Jyotisham apitat Jyotihi. Why you need a pramana to light up an object. But you don't need any pramana to light up yourself, to know yourself. I am is self-evident. What I am, there is confusion about, accepted. But that I am, there is no confusion. Therefore, Jyotisham apitat Jyotihi. Tad Jyotihi tamasah paramuchyate. And being consciousness, it is beyond all darkness, beyond all ignorance. See, ignorance blocks your mind. Ignorance does not cover the consciousness. Because you are aware of the you are aware of the ignorance. Knowledge and ignorance are opposed to each other. Consciousness is not opposed to ignorance or knowledge. We saw this Hastamalikiyam somewhere, remember? Some camp, I think it is there in my channel also. Those tapes are there in my channel. My channel, I kept on loading so much things, now I don't know what all is there. Okay. Hastamalikiyam is written by one of the youngest students that Shankara had. And there he says, Ganachanna drishtihi ganachanna markam yatha manyate cha ati moodaha. My vision of the sun is covered by the clouds. And I say, the sun is covered. Such an ati moodaha, filtered idiot I am. Similarly, the nitya upalabdhi swarupoham atma. I am that atma which is nitya upalabdhi swarupaha, always known as I. Never does it go out of sight, out of mind. I am always there. Because I am there, I can talk about this. Therefore, the I is not covered in ignorance, exactly like how the sun is not covered by the cloud. In the light of the sun, you see the cloud. In the light of the consciousness, you see the ignorance. The ignorance is only with respect to what I am. The ignorance is not with respect to that I am. I am is not, I am not ignorant of. Nobody is ignorant of that. You may have to shift that person's attention a bit to make it evident, that's all. It's always there. Therefore, tamasah paramuchyate, it is not tainted by any ignorance. It's not touched by any ignorance. Okay. Tamasah paramuchyate, jnanam jneyam jnanagamyam. It is jneyam, the thing to be known. Because it's presented like that. Na? Why? Because there is ignorance about it. About what it is, there is ignorance. Therefore, presented as jneyam, the thing to be known. Jnana gamyam, you will gain it only through knowledge. Param chet jnatavyam, if it is something infinite, the only way you can gain it is by knowing it. Aparam chet kartavyam, if it is finite, you have to do action for it. Keeping that knowledge, jnana gamyam, it is gained only through knowledge. So don't say there are various paths to moksha, etc. Okay, nahi hai. There are no paths. There is no path to moksha. There is no path to the Atma. Why is you? The path is from you to yourself. Hey, what type of a path is that? What type of a path is that? It ends where it begins. A path does not end where it begins. It may come back to the source, that's okay. But you have to go some round, no? Yeah, after class today, I'm going to have a whole round and come back. Okay. Whole round. But there is movement. I can't step out of my house and say, my path has ended where it began. Okay, walk is over. No, I have to walk. But here, the path is what? From me to myself? What type of a path is it? There is no path. In fact, the Upanishad says, it is like the tracks left in the sky by the birds. Footprints in the sky by the birds. What footprints? There is no path. Jnana gamyam. Jnaneneva gamyam. This has to be very clear in people's minds. By karma I will get it, by bhakti I will get it, by this I will get it. 4 paths are there. We have dismissed it long back. For the intellectual you give jnana yoga, for the emotional you give bhakti yoga, for the active you give karma yoga, and for those who are not fit for any of the 3 you put them into hatha yoga. Ye kya baat hai? So hatha yoga is full of idiots or what? I would say ulta. For the guy who is intellectual, his heart is not developed enough, give him some bhakti. For the bhakti is already melting away. Give him some jnanam. For the active, quieten him down. Give him some yoga to do. And for the lazy, indolent character, give him some karma to do. That fits in, that's a better option. That's a better option. Yeah. But they're all for preparing your mind. Jnaneneva eva gamyam, jnana gamyam. That's why this 17th verse makes it very clear. Jyotisham api chaddose tamasah paramuchyate jnanam jneyam jnana gamyam. And what is the Swarupa? Jnana Swarupaha, nothing but consciousness. Here jnana, the first jnana, is used in the sense of consciousness. Lakshana Vakya it is. Is the implied meaning of the word knowledge. Whether you are using the word consciousness, awareness, anything, as far as the self is concerned, it is always an implied meaning. Always implied meaning. Like, what is the meaning of the word awareness? Not consciousness, not self. What is the direct English meaning of the word awareness? To be aware of something or the other, knowledge. Then when we are using it in an implied sense. I will say that awareness, put it like this. Are you aware of this book? Yes. Do you have awareness of the book in your mind? Yes. The awareness by which you are aware of the book, the awareness by which you are aware that you have that knowledge, that awareness is yourself. Try it right now. Here is a book. You are aware of this book. This book you are aware of. There is awareness, knowledge of the book in your mind. You are aware of that knowledge. That awareness, that consciousness is what we are talking about as the Atma. And here mentioned as Jnanam. That I. The ultimate resolving point of knowledge. The ultimate resolving point. Yeah. Ultimate resolving point. That is Jnanam. Therefore, Jnanam Jneyam Jnana Gamyam. Jnanam Jneyam Jnana Gamyam. Clear? Or any questions are there on this? If there are any doubts, questions, please check up, because this is one of the most fundamental question in Vedanta. Okay? Therefore, is Jnanam presented as Jneyam, because you have to know what exactly that consciousness is. Therefore, for moksha, jnana gamyam, jnaneneva gamyam. That freedom that you seek, the fulfillment that you seek, the limitlessness that you seek, all there is jnana gamyam, not karma ganyam. By karma, you can go up to the moon and come back. By karma, you can go to heaven and come back. But the fulfillment that you are seeking, that fulfillment that you want, Atma Swarupaha. Therefore, the very search for that fulfillment is the denial of the fact that you are the fulfilled being. The very seeking is the denial of that fact. But without seeking, you are not going to get it. Their seeking has to gain an edge, and you have to say that the seeking has to be in terms of knowing. I have to know what I really am. Not just seek the truth. That seeking is different. That's actually speaking, groping in the dark. Okay. Jnanagamyam. You have now got a focus. You know what is to be done. Okay. Jnanagamyam. Hridi sarvasya vitishtitam. It's available in everyone's heart. At the core of everyone, it is there as I. Sarvasya hridi vitishtitam. Heart, core, brain, whatever you want to call it. Okay. The word heart is very often used in the way we use the word heart in English language. Do you get the heart of the matter? If I am going to ask you a question, do you get the heart of the matter? What you understand is, do you understand the core issue? Exactly. So similarly here, the core as I, it is always available. All you have to do is recognize exactly what you are. Then khel khatam. Now khela ho bhai, okay, game is on. Then game is over, finished. Aur kya? Then what do? Live in Ananda, aur kya? Yeah. Which everything that you are doing before for the sake of Ananda, you can do out of Ananda, no? Yeah. Out of Ananda. Yeah. The difference between singing as a practice. Shravani is not there today. She has a program at 6:30. Okay. Yeah. She had put it up on Facebook. Not that I am active on Facebook, but sometimes I see all these posts. So, singing as a practice. There's a struggle there. Or singing out of joy and fulfillment. Who bothers raga? You sing out of joy, out of fulfillment. Yeah. That singing I can do. I don't normally, because I don't want to torture everybody else. Therefore, I don't. Yeah. Especially all the music lovers here. They'll get tortured if I sing like that. Therefore, it's a different thing. Okay. Okay. Hridi sarvasya vitishtitam. It is there in everyone's heart as the I. Okay. All right. Now he is concluding this section. He says, Iti kshetram tatha jnanam jneyam choktam samasataha mad bhaktaha etad vijnaya madevaya upapadyate. He says, iti, thus, kshetram tatha jnanam. Kshetra, kshetrajnam, jnanam and jneyam. Remember, 3 pairs of words, 2 pairs he has completed. Kshetra, kshetrajnam, tatha jnanam jneyam cha uktam. Samasataha. He says briefly. Briefly. Okay. All right. And mad bhaktaha etad vijnaya. Mad bhaktaha, my devotee, the one who is committed to knowing me, okay? Knowing this, okay? Mad bhavaya upapadyate. Mad bhavaya. He is fit to have mad bhavam. Discover his identity with myself. In a way, you are Ishvara. Not from the standpoint of functioning, but from the standpoint of the reality. Therefore, mad bhavaya upapadyate. This is what, in those of you who are exposed to literature like Sayujyam, Samipyam, etc. as moksha. This is Sayujyam, okay? That oneness with Ishvara. So he is putting in the language of bhakti here. Mad bhavaya upapadyate. In fact, where was the difference anyway? I imagined a difference and I wanted to be one. Out of ignorance, I took myself to be away from Ishvara. Out of my ahankara, out of my wrong thinking, out of my secular upbringing, etc., I denied the role of Ishvara in my life. Then I got wiser. I opened myself up to Ishvara. I opened myself to Ishvara. And now what? Mad bhavaya upapadyate. Yeah. Once you gain this knowledge, I discover Ishvara and I are one and the same. There is no difference. There is no difference. Functionally we are different, that is true. Functionally we are different. But reality is one and the same. Ramana, Isha Jivayor, Veshadhi Bida, Veshahanata, Vastu Kevalam. Isha Jivayoho, between Isha and the Jiva. What is the difference? The dress is different, you see. I am dressed in avidya, he is dressed in Maya Shakti. I am dressed in a limited body, he is dressed in the whole universe. For Veshahanataha, remove the dresses. Why? They are mithya, apparent, not real. What is there? Vastu Kevalam, there is only one Vastu, one pure consciousness. Call it Ishvara, call it myself, call it Atma, call it what you want. There is only one Ishvara, one consciousness. If you say Ishvara alone is, you will be considered Bhakta. If you say I alone am, you will be considered Jnani. Take your pick. Doesn't matter. Take your pick. It doesn't matter. Yeah. All right. Today a lot of people have kept their videos off. Okay, all right. Maybe poor connection or something. Okay. Now what is left? Purusha and Prakriti is left. Remember? Three prayers. Jnanam, Jneyam, Kshetram, Kshetrajnam, Purusha and Prakriti. So now he is handling that section, okay, of Purusha and Prakriti he is handling. Okay. So what is that? Okay. Okay, Purusha and Prakriti. Okay. So continuing with the Purusha Prakriti, he says, Prakritim Purusham Chaiva Vidyad Anadhi Ubhavapi Vikaranscha Gunanschaiva Vidhi Prakriti Sambhavan. Okay, before we go into this verse and the whole thing, remember Purusha and Prakriti are terms used in Sankhya very much. Okay? They are Sankhyan terms. Okay. In Vedanta they are used similarly but not exactly the same. Not exactly the same. Because in Sankhya, Sankhya as a philosophy, as a school of thought, separate from Vedanta, Purusha is considered to be a limited entity, finite entity. So there are many Purushas. What we use for the Jiva, they use for the Purusha. Prakriti is one. In Vedanta, it's the other way around. I mean, Purusha, Prakriti, both are one, but Prakriti is a manifestation, not real. Purusha is absolute consciousness. Whereas in Sankhya, Purusha and Prakriti have same degree of reality. That's why for us, negation of the Prakriti is understanding his mithyatvam and understanding the reality. of the consciousness. But in Sankhya, they actually have to do that. Differentiate, differentiate, differentiate. That's why they spend so much of time in meditation. और कुछ काम धंधा नहीं है, बैठो ध्यान करके, separate, separate, separate. Then you'll call yourself a great yogi. Why? Because you sat in samadhi for a few days. If you are really considering yourself great just because you sat in samadhi, believe me, there is one life form on this universe that will beat you hollow. You know, the polar bear, he hibernates for 4 months, 5 months. He is in a meditative state. He will beat you hollow. Okay, every year he does it. 1 year is born, the next year onwards he also hibernates. He is in samadhi for 3-4 months at a time. And you sat in samadhi for a few days and you consider yourself great. Okay. Therefore, Prakritim Purusham Chaitanya, Vidyat Anadi Ubhaupi, both are Anadis, he says. Consciousness is not limited by time and space, therefore it has no beginning. What about Maya Shakti, Prakriti? Does your ignorance have a beginning? Let us take it personal. Does your ignorance, let us ask a simple question here. Does anyone have knowledge of Russian here? The language Russian? No. Okay. Don't worry, if someone knows Russian, I'll use a different language. Then I'll say Sanskrit. Okay. Anyway, so you have ignorance of Russian. When did it begin? When did your ignorance of Russian begin? You're going to say, just now when I asked, why? Because before that did you know Russian? No. You can't say with your birth. Then before your birth did you know Russian? Beginningless. Ignorance of anything is like that. Beginningless. And if you are taking as Maya Shakti, from where time itself has emerged, Anadi, therefore Purusha and Prakriti, both are Anadi, both are beginningless. Okay. But Vikaranscha Gunanshaiva Vidhi Prakriti Sambhavan. But all Vikaras, all things that are modified, okay, all things that have gunas, some qualities, all of them are born of Prakriti. Consciousness is the base, but modifications of Prakriti, modifications of Maya Shakti. How is that? Here, simple example, this book. What is the truth of this book? This book I am holding in my hand. What is the truth behind this book? Pure existence consciousness. But what is it appearing to you as? Book. This is actually speaking nothing but pure existence consciousness. But it's appearing as a book. How is it appearing as a book? Maya Shakti. With human interference, without human interference. Human interference is part of Maya Shakti. Why? Because Maya manifests itself, or Prakriti manifests itself as Jnana Ichcha Kriya Shakti. Jnana Shakti, capacity to know. Ichcha Shakti is the capacity to desire. And Kriya Shakti, the capacity to do. That defines a human being. Isn't that what we are? What else is us? Jnana Ichcha Kriya Shakti. And because Jnanam is possible, Ajnanam is also possible. Anything that can have knowledge can also have ignorance. Anything can have desire, can also have Vairagya. Remember this. This is important to understand this part. Normally people don't talk about this part. If you are capable of knowledge, you are capable of ignorance as well. If you are capable of desire, you are capable of being free from that desire, Vairagya. If you are capable of action, you are capable of keeping quiet as well. नहीं करने का, मस्तराम बाबा होके बैठना वाला है आज अभी. Yeah, you are capable of that. मौनी बाबा बन जाओ. I have to be careful. If I do it, people will say, "Oh, Swamiji is also practicing vipassana." Okay, yeah. Those days of those practices are gone, over and done with. Okay, yeah. Therefore, all things that you see in the world, natural or made by some effort, all are born because of Prakriti alone, he says. All are born of Prakriti. Okay. To understand this little bit, remember certain fundamental things. He is taking it for granted here. Prakriti or Maya is made up of Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. Remember that, okay? Okay. Sattva, that is knowledge, all things bright and beautiful. Rajas, activity, and that which motivates action, desire, passion, etc. And Tamas, laziness, indolence, inert matter. So inert matter also, inertia, inert matter will all come under Tamas, including Ajnanam. So if you focus on Ajnanam, then it is Tamas. Born as a human being, there is a lot of Tamas. Minimum Tamas is ignorance. It's useful also. Thank God, there is Tamas. Why? I can sleep at night very nicely because of Tamas. Otherwise I wouldn't be able to sleep. Mind is hyperactive, no Tamas. You are hyperactive. Yeah, it happens to sometimes, you know, too much of TV watching, too much of Netflix, too much of Amazon, etc. Mind going. Yeah, you don't get sleep. Can't relax up, can't chill out. So Tamas is necessary. Though most of us have a little bit too much of it. इसके लिए गड़बड़ होता है. So Rajas, activity, etc. And what motivates activity? Desire, ambition, priorities, all that is. Then Sattva, knowledge, etc., which is important. Therefore he says, Karya Karana Kartrutve Hetuhu Prakritiruchyate Purusha Sukha Dukkhanam Bhoktrutve Heturuchyate. Karya Karana Kartrutve, to have cause and effect, the Hetu is Prakriti. Okay. And Purushaha Sukha Dukkhanam Bhoktrutve Hetu Uchyate. And you get Sukha Dukkha because of the Purusha, he says. Sukha Dukkha Bhoktrutve Hetuhu Purusha Uchyate. ये क्या बात है? ये क्या बात है? Sukha Dukkha Bhokta is Purusha, the manifestation of the Purusha. Purusha is the basis. When you get a moment of joy, I'll start with the joy first. When you get a moment of joy, where does the joy come from? Let us say fulfillment of a desire. I was longing for it. Both didn't say. I wanted it, I wanted it, I wanted it. Oh Lord, give me this, give me that, give me this, give me this, give me this. All that. And finally I got it. So what happened? Great joy. So what really happened? Your whole mind was projected onto that desire. On the fulfillment of that desire, the projection resolved. the Ananda that you are manifested in your mind, you felt happy. Because not always on the fulfillment of desire. मैं रास्ता पर जा रहा था, भेलपुरी नहीं खा रहा था, बट जा रहा था इधर उधर, aimlessly wanted. Suddenly between two buildings I saw the moon. Aha, Dvitiya Chandra. The second day moon, beautiful crescent. Aha, how dear. What happened? Your mind was aimlessly projecting this, that. Again arrested, you got that clearance. Ananda that you are manifest itself. You're sitting at the signals in the car, in a cab, waiting. Arey yaar, kabhi signal chalu karega? When will the whole traffic move forward? Sitting like that. And I happened to glance to the side. There's a cute little baby making faces in the other car there. And a smile burst forth. Why? That cuteness of the baby arrested all my projections into why the traffic is not moving, etc. Ananda that I am manifest. Therefore, Sukha Dukkhanam Karanam. Sukha Karanam Purushaha. Sukha Bhoktrutve Hetuhu Purushaha. And sorrow? Sorrow also is the same. When I deny the Ananda from manifesting by all my thoughts, projections, my emotions, my anger, my all that nonsense. Whatever. No Ananda. No Ananda. Dukkha. Or something's happened. If you look at the TVs, you will think as though your children are going and fighting that war. War is happening in one place. But big news. I agree, it is unfortunate. All that I agree. No, I am not justifying that war or anything of that sort. Yeah. But human beings will go to war. Animals also go to war. Human beings also go to war. It's natural. Part of the game. It's so natural that the United Nations in their declaration has recognized war as the last act of diplomacy. Official UN declaration in the charter, it is mentioned that war is the last act of diplomacy. So what's the big deal about it? Horrifying. हाँ, प्यार नहीं कर रहा है, वॉर कर रहा है. Yeah. You know, overemphasis on ahimsa is a problem, okay? The Tibetans learned it the hard way. The Tibetans are a classical example as a country learning the hard way. Most recent. We also learned it the hard way, but it was long back, Ashoka's reign, when Ashoka was the Chakravarti. Ahimsa, disband the army. Every chieftain became independent. So when foreigners walked in, they are fighting one king at a time. The cohesiveness of the country went off. However, there was a certain cohesiveness. Even though they were independent kingdoms, there was a cohesiveness there. There's a politically we are one. The idea of Bharata Desha was always there. It's old as the Vedas. Bharata Varsha, it is mentioned in the Veda. It is not that after the British came, we became Indian nation. Okay, that's idiocy. Yeah, that is colonial thinking. I enjoy colonial cousins. That can be fun. But don't get into colonial thinking, okay? That is a problem.
There is a book by Swamiji. There is a book by
Sai Deepak, no?
Sai Deepak.
Excellent book, I know, brilliant.
Excellent, excellent, mind-blowing.
Mind-blowing book. Yes, I think all of us who are interested in geopolitics should definitely read it.
Yeah, everybody should read it.
Everybody. In fact, even those who are not interested.
Coming to the next one.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the next one too.
Which book? What is the title of the book?
Uh,
India, My Bharat.
yeah, India, that is Bharat. Yeah, it's a big fat book, but nice. You can read it in small doses. Difficult to read it in big doses unless you are familiar with, this civic words, constitutional words, etc. Yeah, where there it is. Ajit is showing it on the screen. India, that is Bharat. Yeah, available on Amazon. Yeah, available on Amazon. Somebody sent it to me from Amazon, so I have that. Excellent book. So look at this. The sukha dukkha that is experienced is possible only if I am Ananda. Deny my Ananda nature, dukkha. Remove that, whatever is denying it, it will manifest. You don't have to do anything. You just have to remove the conscious projection that is happening. Like what happens in deep sleep. Can anyone deny sleep is not a happy experience? Can anyone deny sleep being a happy experience? No one can deny sleep as a happy experience, can you? Swamiji, I am not sure whether sleep is happy. I know I am not unhappy. Really? Look at the preparations you make to go to sleep. You want the pillow at the right, the temperature proper, the lighting or absence of it, all that. Everything you take care of. You think you are aware of all this when you are asleep? You are aware of nothing. So why don't you be like me? Flop onto the bed and go to sleep. Yeah. Flop and go to sleep. Oh yeah. Kya farak pada? No, the mosquito, this thing, all that you have to adjust. Arey, mosquitoes also have to live, let them feast on you. Oh, dengue, this, that. Okay. You have a lot of preparation before going to sleep. In fact, some of the girls whom I know have a sleep routine they follow. Remove makeup, brush your hair, have 100 strokes. I don't know whether young girls today are following that 100 strokes regime. I don't know. My time girls used to follow that. Okay. And then have that little bit hot milk or a bedtime tea, chamoil or hibiscus or something, so you'll get good night. All that preparation for what? That you can go to sleep. And getting up, there's always a reluctance to get out of bed. No? Snooze. And the phone makers are very smart. These characters are very smart. They provide you a snooze button. So you say, no, I'll get up at 6 o'clock and go for a walk. 6 o'clock comes snooze. After 10 minutes again, another snooze. How long? Until it is 7 o'clock. So 1 hour of disturbed sleep. Why don't you keep the alarm at 7 only and get up at 7 then? There's a pressure, no? Because I am awake at the same time, I know I can sleep a bit more. That reluctance to get out of it, all that proves it's a happy experience. Your preparations to go in and the reluctance to emerge out. Exactly like a young girl meeting a boyfriend or vice versa, a young boy meeting a girlfriend. Why? A lot of preparation before. And then the reluctance in parting, no? All this you all should know. You all have experienced all this. Don't have to hear it from a monk, okay? Yeah. Lingering goodbyes, etc. Same way. With your sleep also is the same thing. That's why I joke. Nidra Devi is waiting for me. Yeah. So, what are you doing there? Only negating projections. Therefore, sukha dukkha bhoktrutve hetuhu purusha. The hetu is purusha, okay? Purusha sukha dukkhanam bhoktrutve hetu ruchyate. Okay. Clear about this? No questions, no? Okay. Then you can see one more verse. Purusha prakritisto hi bhungte prakritijan gunan karanam gunasangosya sadasya yoni janmasu. Okay. This may spill over to the next class, but okay. Purusha prakritistaha. The Purusha that is manifest in the Prakriti. Bhungte prakritijan gunan. He enjoys all the gunas that is presented by Prakriti. But Prakriti Guna, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. Yeah, but Sattva, Rajas, Tamas in which various combinations become different things. Predominant Sattva combinations, it comes as a nice salad. And this person is a diet freak. Enjoy it. Little bit more Rajas, this thing comes as a nice jalebi. और मजा आता है. I mean, who can say no to a jalebi? That also you should eat in North India. They know how to make jalebis. Here they are skinny little apologies of a jalebi. Those who are in Chembur, want to enjoy good jalebis, go to Chembur camp. There you will get something good. Okay. If you pata hai, no? Jama, Vijay and all, you will get fairly decent jalebis. To get real good jalebis, you have to go to North India. Yeah. Anyway, Rajas combination. Therefore, Prakriti Jan Gunan, all gunas born of Prakriti, who enjoys? Purusha that is manifest in the Prakriti. The Purusha that is manifest in the Prakriti enjoys all that. Prakritistha Purusha. Karanam Guna Sangasya Sad Asad Yoni Janmasu. And this manifested consciousness is not aware of its true nature. Because remember, only a bit of Maya is manifest in a given human mind. That bit of Maya has a lot of avidya in it. Total Maya is all knowledge. Ishvara's Maya. When you take little, qualitative difference happens with quantitative differences. Therefore, I take myself to be this only. Prakriti and Purusha are taken as one. I am happily married to Prakriti. Then you know what happens. All of you are experiencing it anyway. Therefore, this Guna Sangaha, there is no Sangaha possible between consciousness and Prakriti. What Sangaha can be there? What type of connection can be there between two different degrees of reality? One is Asangaha Purushaha, limitlessness, untouched by anything. And the other is an apparent entity. The Sangaha there is pure Adhyasa, mistaking one for the other. The manifestation mistakes itself to be the reality. I take myself and my Maya Shakti is one and the same. My Avidya is one and the same. Therefore, the manifestation of Avidya, this mind and body, etc., as one and the same. I am this much only. Forget the body, even mind is enough. I am this much only. And therefore, your finitude. You can't stand finitude because you are infinite. It is like a lion going to sleep and being awake and finding itself in a cage. Do you think it will stand it? It will roar and try to struggle against the whole thing. You are doing the same thing. Struggling against your finitude without knowing how you got there. Therefore, in the struggle, you will manifest desires. You will like something, you will dislike something else. Therefore, karma will come into the picture. Therefore, sad, asad, yoni, janmasu. You will be born in different wombs, meaning in different life forms you will be born. Yatha karma, yatha jnanam. As how your meditations have been, how your karma has been. Now, I have done such beautiful karma. I can laze in a swimming pool all day. Food and drink is served at the side. Wow, what a life is that. Lot of punya karma, correct? What are you? Water buffalo. Born as a water buffalo. Then the owner will sing, Mera bhai isko danda kyun mara? So, all this yoni janma is because of karma only. No? So, don't blame what happens in your life. Karma, karma phala. Okay. Yeah. Karma phalam is strong. That means what? You're well into samsara. Ajnanam, and that ajnanam gets ramified. With every experience of the world, your ignorance is strengthened, ramified with all the layers of experiential learning. All your experiences contribute to your samskaras, etc. Make I am this much only very strong. You want to free yourself from it. And if you are trying the experiential route, your experiences can lead to growth. That is true. But experience won't free you from your sense of identification with the body, mind, etc. Taking yourself as I am this much only, I am a finite entity. We have been doing this for lifetimes. We have gone to different dimensions and come back. Remember, all of us were jivas for a long time. Ever since the beginning of the Kalpa and Satya Yuga, we have been hanging around, doing various things. Yeah. Past life regression, etc. I remember lifetime, 5,000, 7,000 years ago, I remember lifetimes. I've been hanging around. Finally, by some chance, some grace, you will end up on Vedanta. And your chance to finish the game off. Your chance to finish this game and become Ananda Swarupaha again. You already were Ananda Swarupaha. But to discover that and remain as Ananda, you get that chance. So think about this Sangaha between Purusha and Prakriti. If you think about it, I am sure there will be questions next time. Okay. Next class, I am sure there will be questions. So think about it, and we will. Good place to call it a day. And then next class we will see more, unfolding what exactly the nature of Ananda, etc. Back again.
Swamiji, for a few seconds, my mic came on. I'm very sorry.
No problems. No issues. It happens. Don't worry. So have a great day. The evening, night is still young. Okay, the night is still young.
Thank
Okay.
you, sir.
Yeah. Om.